Hello and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my very first video, so I am very excited, a little nervous, but I think I'm gonna do great. I'm used to talking to myself in front of a pretend camera. I've kind of been wanting to do this for a little while, and I kept putting it off, but I saw my friend Tristan do this, and so I decided, you know what, I'll take this as a sign to start doing it myself, because now at least I'm not doing it alone, like one of my friends is doing it too, so it feels a little less scary in that sense. I've been participating like in the bookish space, especially here on YouTube, since probably 2016. I'm gonna be so honest, I've been here for a very long time. So it feels really cool to finally like dive into that instead of just being a silent watcher, to actually be able to share my opinions on books too. So yeah, huge shout out to Tristan. Love her so much. With all of that out of the way, let's get into the video. So this week I was gonna do like an introductory kind of video talking about myself, some of my favorite books, some of the books I can't wait to read. However, there's 13 books here. These are all from the library that I picked up within the last week. So the first book I picked up was Anxious People by Frederick Bachman. I see this on TikTok all the time. A lot of people are always recommending it. I didn't really think it was for me because it's a lit fic, and I don't like lit fics. So I never really thought about picking it up, but I walked into the library and I kid you not, it was the first book that I saw, and I took it as a sign, and I decided to read the synopsis, and it sounded really interesting and I was kind of hooked immediately. It's about like a bank robber, but he never actually robbed a bank, and also talking about all the victims of the people that he accidentally held hostage, and the policeman and his father, who's also a policeman, dealing with the case. I have actually started reading this book, and I really like it so far. It's written as if it's very monologue-y. It gives very much like you're reading a monologue, and there might be other people on stage, but you're reading a monologue to the audience is what it feels like. That's like the vibe that it gives me. But I really do enjoy it. The next book I've been looking at for a while, and I almost bought like 3 times, but then didn't. And I don't know why, because this was one of my most anticipated releases not that long ago. But it's Thieves' Gambit by Kevin Lewis. It sounds so good. I see it pitched all the time as being a crossover between the Inheritance games and Ocean's 11. If it has any element of the Inheritance games, I think I'm gonna really enjoy this. If you see this book, not from the library, just my own personal copy on my bookshelf. No, you didn't. The next book I actually have heard nothing about. It's The Deceivers by Christian Simmons, and I don't really know anything about this book. I haven't seen very many people talk about this book, so I don't really know what to tell you about it. All I know is that like our main character is going to a school for like con artists, and she's like a thief. I read the synopsis, but also can't tell you a thing I read. I think this book is kind of older, and that's probably why nobody talks about it, or at least nobody talks about it anymore. Maybe I missed that era. But I'm excited to get through it and to read it. This next book, I actually picked up the 3rd book by accident at first, so I had to return that book and then get the 1st book, but that is Doing Time by Jodi Taylor. I, once again, know nothing about this book, also have never heard a single soul talk about this book, and I think that is in part due to the fact that this is not an American author. She is British. This was originally published in the UK, and then republished here in the US. But all I know about this book, besides it being a series, is that it's like time traveling superheroes. It is YA, but from what I read, it kind of sounds like the plots and the theme runs a little bit more middle grade. So I don't necessarily know if I'm gonna like it. The concept I think I'm gonna like, but I don't know if I'm gonna like the execution. And that might in part be to the fact that it is like 500 pages long. The next book I picked up, it's Arusha: The End of Time by one of my all-time favorite authors, Roshani Chomsky. Her other series, which I will not be mentioning or talking about, it is a St. Martin's Press title, so we will not be discussing that series. I love her so much. She is tied for my all-time favorite author. So I wanted to give this a try because I love Percy Jackson. Meaning to read this for a little while. It sounds so cute and so adorable. Is it middle grade? Yes. Do I care? Absolutely not. The next book I've read like the first chapter of before and have honestly been wanting to get since high school, but then keep getting scared off because I keep getting told that it's not good. But I think I'm gonna like it, and that's The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. I think I'm gonna enjoy this book. I've heard so many people that I know personally be like, oh, you're not gonna like that book was not good. But I think that they might be wrong. I think I might enjoy this book. Next, The Society for Soulless Girls. I'm a dark academia girly till the day that I die. Seems like the epitome of a dark academia book. The title, The Society for Soulless Girls, gives me vibes of like secret societies. Magic mixed with like secret societies for me is like the definition of dark academia. The next two, I guess the next four books, but I'll do it two at a time, are graphic novels, and they're both series. So the first two are the two Persepolis books, Persepolis 1 and Persepolis 2 by Marjane Satrapi, I think. Could not tell you. I initially thought that this graphic novel was just this book, but it turns out that there's a second one. This is the story about a girl growing up during the Islamic Revolution, and then this is kind of the revisiting of that when she's an adult. I absolutely adore a graphic novel. I eat them up. Graphic novels to me just kind of feel like a place to talk about something really serious and have a really serious conversation while also not being serious. I think the next series that I'm going to talk about also kind of sums that up. This is the second and the third books. The Hidden Witch and the Midwinter Witch, which are by Molly Knox Ostertag. Could not tell you. The very first book in this series is The Witch Boy. I read that a little while ago. For some reason, my library does not have the first book in physical form, but it has the second and the third one. Don't ask me why, I could not tell you. But I have already read this one, and I'm going on to this one. So I'm not going to talk about these too much, but I will talk about the first book. So the first book is super cute. It's about a magical family, and all the girls are witches and all the boys are shapeshifters, but our main character is a boy, but he wants to learn magic. He wants to be a witch, hence The Witch Boy, and it's just a story about him discovering himself and his family's acceptance with that. And so it's super cute. I love it so much. Did I cry? Yes. But I think that that's a great representation of what I was saying just a minute ago. Graphic novels are a way to talk about serious topics and have serious conversations while also being lighthearted. This series, at least the first book, this one dives into the same topic because Aster, our main character, is the same, but the first book is on to transgenderism, and so like it's a really deep conversation, and it's a really impactful conversation to have, but it's being held in a middle school like grade graphic novel, and I don't think that negates any of the conversation. I think it enhances it in a way because it allows you to talk about a conversation and see it in a different light. Kind of going along with that theme, actually I lied, the next 5 books would be graphic novels because the next one is also a graphic novel. It's Girl on Fire by Alicia Keys. The only reason I picked this up is because it's written by Alicia Keys. I did not know that she wrote a book. I love Alicia Keys, one of my favorite artists. And when I picked this up and I read who it was by, all I could think about was, she's just a girl and she's on fire. I didn't read the synopsis till I got back home. Again, it seems like we're having like tough conversations through graphic novels, and I really love that because it puts it into a different perspective. But this book is about a girl who figures out that she has superpowers, and I think that that is so freaking cute. The last book, I swear to God, I walk into the library and I just black out, and I walk out with so many books. But the last book caught my eye solely because of the cover, or like the spine. But tell me that if you saw this, you wouldn't want to pick it up? If you said no, you're lying to yourself. This is All Our Hidden Gifts by Carolyn O'Doe. This is about a girl who finds a mysterious deck of tarot cards. This book sounds so incredibly amazing though, and I think I'm gonna love it. Again, like dark academia, magical realism. So excited. Again, I don't really know what to say about this book, mainly because I picked it up purely based off of vibes, and I have never seen anyone talk about this. As with most of these books, to be honest, like Anxious People by Frederick Bachman is probably the only one out of all of these that I've heard a significant amount of people talk about. That and Thieves Gambit. I've heard some people talk about Persepolis, but that's mainly people I know and like not in the bookish space. But the vibes are vibing. That concludes the 13 books that I picked up from the library. All right, well, I hope you enjoyed. I hope you will stick around. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, like, comment, subscribe. I'm really doing this for fun, but if you enjoy, I know I love watching people just doing things for fun. The end goal is just to have a good time. So if you had a good time, I know I had a good time, I'm gonna have a good time editing this. I could marry Adobe Premiere Pro and I would be happy. I know I'm gonna enjoy this. I hope you enjoyed this. I hope you stick around, and I will see you next Wednesday. Bye! What is this book about? Magical house? Oh. So the hidden witch and the hidden witch, I can't read real well.